but I have read a lot of articles about you, and you're a very good bar. But
Well, thank you.
yes, I would like to visit sometime. I hope
You like to do what?
to visit your
Oh,
bar.
please.
Of course, yeah.
In Los Angeles,
But
anytime.
when you talk, what is the best thing being a bartender?
What is the best thing about?
Why do you love being a bartender?
I like taking care of people. Yeah, I think bars and bartenders offer the unique opportunity to be the fabric or the term connective tissue, you know, like in the body. Like we can be the connective tissue in people's lives so they get from one point to another point. And I think even though we're not doctors, we're not curing cancer, I think we're offering a very important part of what it means to be human, which is to care for people and to listen. Some people want to talk, some people don't want to talk, but you're still taking care of them. So I think there's a real responsibility and a real positive pride in caring for people and being able to read people's behavior and attend to them.
Do you mind being that person to like handle other people's problems, and do you shut down sometimes? Just
well, like I said before, I think sometimes there's some people that really want to lay it on you, and there are other people that just want you to smile at them and get them a nice cold glass of something, and that's all they need. They don't need anything more than that. And yes, I wouldn't be good at it if I didn't sometimes want to shut down and not do it, because that's what makes me human. Is like, I don't want to deal with somebody else's problems. But I do think recognizing that when I get behind a bar, or if I'm on the floor, or when I used to work in restaurants, having that opportunity is, I think, not just for me, but for people in this industry, is a great responsibility.
Yeah, that's good. But you do a lot of classic cocktails, and they usually don't get out of fashion. But I've read that your edge is when it comes to serving. Can you describe your service in the bar?
Sure, absolutely. Just to echo what you said, our cocktails are mostly classic, or they're a spin on a classic. And we strive for consistency, so that even if you come in to see me and you've had a great variation on a Manhattan, but you come back in one night and I'm not there, Max or Nikki or any of our other bartenders will be able to execute that drink consistently. And I think for us, in terms of service, when you have that consistency, then each bartender, each server can offer their version of warmth and embracing the guest. Now, in terms of our actual service, it's I guess we took like fine dining elements a little bit, also in the way we prepare our drinks, because we prepare, for example, our drinks all at once, so that if a group of 6 of you come in, we will serve you your 6 drinks all at once. If you're at a table or if you're at a bar, and you don't want to make one drink, put it up, let it sit there, and then make the other drinks, because then that one will die. It's just like a kitchen, you know very well. So if we all order 6 steaks, and there's one that's well done and one rare, the well done's going on first, the rare's going on last, and they're all going out at the same time. So we incorporate those kind of values of preparation in terms of service. A little bit, I guess. Just cleanliness on the table, where we reach in front of the guest, where we handle glassware at its lowest point. Picking I guess like more of a fine dining service.
Is it a little more old-fashioned kind of style at the bar, more like a?
Sure. Yeah.
It seems like
it's not. It's definitely. We don't want to be stuffy, but we're not casual in our service. We want you to feel that you can be casual, but our service is very specific in terms of where we serve, how we place drinks, and that's another level of consistency that offers ourselves and the guests to be casual and fun with each other. So
I love that kind of bar serving.
Yeah,
I think
it's I think
nice.
And I think that's become a bigger part of what it means to be in the bar industry. Is very specific programs.
Yeah, and you need to have your kind of style to stand out as well.
But wouldn't you agree? Like you go to bars where like, oh, this is just tiki. And this is the way it's going to be. Colored straws and umbrellas and lays and Hawaiian shirts. Great, good times. It's a different you know, you go for Chinese food. You go, you want a burger, you go to a great burger
That's
joint.
what I like. Bars need to have the specific things.
And that's what's happening now. I think
Yeah.
like in the last 10 years, and I'm sure you're seeing it a lot here in Stockholm, that's really what I think is changing the bar experience.
Yeah. And the Varnish was born like in 2009.
2009,
And
February.
you're like in Cole's storage back room?
Yeah, it's in the back of Cole's. Cole's has been there for 100 years.
Yeah.
It's a French dip restaurant.
Yeah.
It's actually where the French dip was invented. Yeah, and there was my partner took over Cole's, and they just redid the kitchen. Historically, they kept it the same, cleaned it up. You know. But there was a back storage room, and there was nothing in there. And I met him in L.A. when I came out from New York with my other business partner, and we saw the back room, and he's like, "What do you think?" We're like, "This is perfect." So we built it out, and we created this back room bar. There's no secret handshake. There's no password. There's no just you open the door, a host will greet you. We don't do parties larger than 6, and as long as there's room, then it suits you. We get all walks of life. It's really cool. We get parents, we get college students, we get young professionals, doctors, lawyers. I mean, we get everything, which is really a neat place to be.
But was it specific to be like a speakeasy bar when you just have the sign of the cocktail at the door?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think speakeasy was an illegal establishment, but I think now it's more of a style or an allure.
Yes, it is.
So yes, I would. I think because it does a lot of classic drinks, and it lives in a certain era, like it lives in the 20s and 30s is our style. It has that speakeasy definition or allure to it. So yeah, definitely. I think we were going for a classy environment, and we happen to just like the 1920s and 30s and 40s. It's just a period we like. And we don't ever like to consider ourselves a theme bar.
No.
You know, I mean, we let our staff dress how they want to, from anywhere from all the way up to the 1950s. After that, we, no jeans, but they can wear the shoes they choose and the shirts and whatnot. And so they get to have fun with their style. Try to keep it classic, vests, suspenders. But we don't want to be too stiff.
No.
We don't try to be too stiff.
Yeah. I think it's good.
Yeah.
When you have this classic thing.
So it's classic specific, but a little relaxed.
And you have won a lot of prizes at the Taste of the Cocktail, and you're on the best bar of the world list. How do you keep motivated to like all the time come forward?
I think
stand out.
That's a really interesting question. I think there's a trap there because some people could think that they're not doing enough and they have to prove themselves and do something different. I think we really strive to be consistent and, like I said, specific. The restaurant Noma.
Yeah.
And, we're gonna have to take that again. But I was watching Mind of a Chef, which is a show on Netflix, and Chef Renee was talking about how they are very specifically work within the parameters of what's local and do their best to adhere to that, and continuously as they use those ingredients over and over, the less that they have the less that they give themselves to use, the more they have to search what they actually have in front of them and do variations with what they have. So I think in a way we look at the classic ingredients and recipes we had, and we really just try to hone it in. Like we make our orgeat, like all the time Max is coming up with it's our orgeat, it's an orgeat recipe, but it's a little bit better than he added a little bit of vanilla. But it's staying within our parameters and really making sure that we have the fresh produce and our serves are being made correctly and they have the right sweetness levels. And also speaking with our staff and making sure everybody's communicating. So following the script very closely, but continuously looking at it and asking ourselves questions. And I think that keeps us specific and relevant. So I don't think we try to like, hey, look at us, look at what we're doing that's new. Yeah, we just very much try to hold our program and hold the line.
Be the best that you can.
That we can, and just like, because we know that sometimes you don't want to come to our bar because we might not have something you want. It might not be loud enough. It might not have, the music might not be loud enough. There's no dancing, so. But we think in the end, when you do come, you're going to get us.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
you're not going to get a watered down version of it.
No.
So to stay really consistent, I think is, I always find people sometimes don't think doing something 5,000 times over is creative. If I can do something over and over and over again, I think that's quite an achievement.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Do you think in like using organic fruits and vegetables, and do you think in like a seasonal?
We do things seasonally, absolutely, but we don't. Again, in our program, we don't use like kiwis or mangoes. No. So berries, of course, berries have a certain season. We try to stay seasonal with the berries of the time, and I think. In terms of using things that are organic, we look at the sugars that we use, and for example, we just made a change to a local California honey, only because the honey that we were getting was from China, and I'm not here to bash on China, but like the honey was like
use the local stuff.
It was local, but the China honey was not as good, and we were concerned about the quality. So we look at what we have and try to be as organic or local or health focused as possible.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very good. But when you work, I read that you work with ice blocks.
Yes.
And do you think it has come? Has it been a long time in LA that you use blocks of ice?
We were the first place that used blocks. So we were the first place that did rock.
Really?
Yeah.
You're the first one.
Varnish was the first one, and so now we have a little factory outside.
Yeah, you do your own ice.
And now we do our own ice, and we also we're a couple of bars that we sell it to, because now bars want to use us, but we use ice that we cut for every style, except for the crushed ice, because we have one machine and it's a crushed ice machine. But every other ice that we use to stir, to shake, to serve Collins, to serve old fashions, or to serve anything that's shaking it down on a rock, we use ice that Kleinbell, like that machine that freezes the 300-pound blocks. We use that ice.
I have a few. The company here in Stockholm.
Actually, I think it's those guys right there,
those
right?
Guys.
Yeah,
those are my friends too.
Oh, excellent!
But it's fantastic to get this whole block of ice clear.
Oh, it's so cool. Do they have a big factory? Or?
No, not big.
How many machines do they have?
I don't know. I think Jakob knows.
One, but I think they have another one coming up.
Is it a Kleinbell?
It's a Polish Kleinbell.
Interesting. Okay.
Because they are moving to a bigger spot now. Yeah, space.
Yeah, because they need it, huh?
Yeah, they need it. What is your the three most memorable cocktails you had ever
in my life?
In the world?
Oh wow!
do you remember?
Wow. I had it was very hot, and I think memorable cocktails are not just if they're the perfect balance. I think it's it's very much the experience. I was in New Orleans and it was very, very hot, and I remember we went to the Sazerac Bar. I believe it's in the Roosevelt. Yeah, the hotel. We went into the Sazerac Bar and we had these frothy, creamy Ramos-steamed fizzes. They were so good. Been riding our bikes around, because in New Orleans, riding your bike it's such a European city. I say New Orleans is it's the southernmost European city and the northernmost tropical city. And it was really hot. It gets humid there. So we parked the bikes, and my good friend Ben and I went in there and we sat. And also my business partner, Sid Moses, was there. And we went into the Sazerac Bar and had great Ramos-steamed fizzes. Those were great.
That's a great story.
Yeah, that's a memorable one.
Could be enough with one as well.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think. I love Negronis, and I tend to always, when I go to a place, I love it if a bar can just make me a good Negroni. I had a really good Negroni yesterday at Gold Bar.
Oh,
yeah.
They do great things.
Yeah, that was that was the first bar we went to yesterday.
Is a Negroni a kind of thing that you can compare bartenders from? Or bars?
I mean, yeah. I
don't... your Negroni and I know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, it's 3 ingredients.
Yeah.
And equal parts.
Yeah.
Some people do a little, depending upon the vermouth, they're using a little less vermouth or whatnot. But I think if a bartender can make a Negroni, they can probably do very well in other things. And I'm not a bartender or somebody that sits down in other bars and tests bartenders. I don't like that. I don't think that's very much fun.
When you're free,
I like
I
to,
probably enjoy
I love the
myself.
theater. I love the reason I like going to bars is and different bars because everybody says to me, "Wow, it must be tough for you to go out because you love cocktails." And I'm like, no. Sometimes I want to go out and we'll see what it's like going to a movie. You don't always want to see an action movie or a love movie or a drama. You want to. I like a good beer and a shot of mezcal sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm a chef. I love to go eat out.
Right. Sometimes
I don't
you want to
cook
go.
for myself.
Sometimes you want to go to Noma. Sometimes you want to go to a taco shack. Yeah. So I a big part, and I didn't say that before, but I think what also drives me in terms of the bar is the theater.
Yeah.
So I think everything I'm really talking about is every element, the whole theater of the bar,
Like show.
of the show of our service, and not the show of like, hey, look at us.
No.
The very much like, how are you? We have service. You know, keeping things clean and organized, and to us, I think that drives us. Is the theater.
And I read that you're 6 bartenders at the Varnish. Is that correct?
Right now we're 1, 2. Yeah, they're about 6. There's 2 of them that are pretty. 2 of them that have the most shifts during the week. But I mean, what do you have? Yeah. Okay, you got about 18 shifts a week.
Yeah, but I read that you everyone can do all types of jobs in the bar, and I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
That's very important to us, and that you know, there have been times when we couldn't just hire somebody to go through all the ranks because we needed somebody behind the bar. But usually, when we hire someone, you work the door. Yeah. Even if you're a bartender and you're accomplished, you work the door, you work the floor, you go to the bar, and it's important that everyone there understands how to do everyone's position, so that there's no, oh, I don't do that, that's not my job.
No.
Like if all of a sudden the server's at a table and they can't, you just put up a tray of drinks, and those drinks are sitting there, and as you know, like food, they're slowly dying. So you go like, okay, so Mickey can't come here, I'm going to run those. You take them, you run them to the table, and that's why you should know how to deal with people at the table. You know, of course, as much as we strive to become proficient at each of the jobs, some people do other jobs better just because they're better at dealing with people at the door, but we need everybody to understand
the business, the whole
business. Because it's no, you know, sometimes bartenders think they're the center of attention, and we're like, nah.
The rock stars.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the heads are big enough. Everyone, every person working is a cog in the whole machine, and everybody makes the theater happen. So.
That's good. And I read that your mom is quite an inspiration for your bartending career.
Right.
Was she the one that got you interested?
Well, my mother got me very much involved in caring for people.
Yeah.
So she's always been my mother's French. I'm French.
Yeah.
So what's funny is that you couldn't come over to my house when we were growing up and not have my mother serve you something to eat or take care of you or give you something to drink. And she's still that way. So in that regard, hospitality-wise, she's a big inspiration for me. Now, my mother also had a restaurant with her mother, my mammy, and my tonton, my uncle, in Porta de la Selva, which is north of Barcelona, right by the border of France, and right over the border of France in Spain, northern Spain. And they had a restaurant. And there's a photo at the Varnish of my mother and my uncle standing in front of the bar that they had. Yeah. And so yeah, they've you know, they were definitely an inspiration.
Who got you into the business?
Well, you know, you go to school for the arts, and then you need a job after you get out of school, and so I apprenticed and very much took to being behind the bar. Yeah. So I kind of learned my own ropes, and I think it was funny because I used to race sailboats, and I find a bar very much like a boat. Everything has a home. You know, you put things in a certain place, and it lives there, and there's also water involved, and you're creating things, and you're keeping organized, and so I don't know. I think maybe that helped me out, knowing how to do that. Yeah.
Well, if you should take a consumer to do a cocktail at home, what would it be?
Well, I guess it would. There's 2 that come to mind because they're very simple, and but I think if people know how to make an old-fashioned, and if they know how to make a daiquiri, then just like coffee, like, you know, if you can pull a really good espresso or make a good cappuccino, which are just 3 simple ingredients in a cappuccino, I think then you can understand balance well. And as you probably know, bartenders, what do we order? Old fashions and daiquiris. So I think those would be the drinks I would suggest for somebody to try to learn how to make at home.
And if you would recommend a young bartender something to learn in the business, or how to get into the business, or some tip?
Yeah, I would. I guess this might sound a little obtuse, but when you're working your way through the business, whatever job you have, if you're not the bartender and you're a bar back, or you're a server, and you always think about working in an active way and not in a busy way, because let's say there's the same amount of work in front of you, you have the opportunity to learn something, and if you think of it as busy work, then it's sloppy. But if you think of it as like active, I'm going to be active and do this work, you're going to learn a lot more. And the other thing is listen to noise. I'm so like, is the music too loud? Did somebody drop a fork? I mean, don't pull chairs like that. Lift them. You know. So noise to me would be to a young person in the business of listen. Don't just walk by a chair and push it with your leg, because it makes noise and that bothers people. Very sensitive to that. Watch your noise making is what I would say. You know, even when people put glasses down, you know, it's like, don't make that noise. Put the glass down gently. I think that's really considering what you're doing for people very closely.
And you talk about your tools. What are your most important tools to have?
Well, I've been doing this for so long that I know there's so many great. Some good companies out there, and there's Japanese barware that people are use, and it's beautiful. I'm kind of an old salt, and some of my equipment is pretty. I mean, it looks fine, but it's cheap, and I don't mean cheap in that it's bad. It's just it doesn't cost $40 for a spoon. I mean, I spend like $5 on the spoon, but I think just because my hands are used to that. Like you would say, somebody who's a chef, they use like, oh, look at this new knife, and you'd be like, this one has worked for me for 10 years. It fits in your hand, you know how to, just like the peelers. I like the yoked peelers, you know, the U. It's just the way my hand works. I like that. One piece of equipment that I think is more important these days, I think, for everybody is the bitters bottles. We use the Japanese ones. Now, the reason I say that's like the one Japanese product that I think is important, because that bitters bottle, it's specific. I've been using that word a lot, I know, it's specific. But it's very precise, because like, as you know, you take an Angostura bottle, and if it's full and you go like this, you don't get enough. And then you go like that when then there's like a point where it's just perfect. But after that, let's say when it's almost empty and you go like that, then you get a lot of bitters. So to regulate the bitters, which I think is really important in balancing drinks, because too much bitters it's no
ruins
good.
The balance.
Yeah, it really ruins the balance. So I think the Japanese bitters bottles are really great to us. Yeah, it's also very it's also looks good too. They're very pretty, because I think sometimes the bitters bottles can get really dirty and messy in a busy bar. So the bitters bottles are really nice too. They're pretty.
And what do you drink when nobody sees you?
When nobody sees me? Absolute Mandarin and soda? No.
Shots.
Absolute Mandarin and sugar-free Red Bull. No, I actually have no taste for Red Bull. But what do I drink when nobody's watching? You know, I'll have a Miller High Life and mezcal. Shot of mezcal and Miller High Life. I live in California now. I'm from New York, but there's something about good, cheap American beer and mezcal. Yeah. So I'll do that in front of people. I don't need to be in private for that one.
It's a good drink.
Yeah.
Beer and booze.
Yeah, beer and booze, just straightforward. I'm trying to think if there's any super guilty pleasure that I have.
What about food?
Oh, food? What do I like to eat?
Or when nobody's watching.
Oh man, I know I'm gonna think of a really great answer later on.
I can come back to you. That's okay.
Yeah, you should actually email me. I should give you my card so you'd be like, did you think of anything?
Yeah.
I mean, I eat everything. I'm a big fan of eating. I can't think of something that I wouldn't eat in front of somebody. I'm pretty brave about food. So hot and love ramen, but I do that with friends. Yeah. I'm gonna have to give you my card, because I know I'm gonna think of one. I'm gonna be like, it's a Twinkie.
Yeah.
But I don't really love Twinkies.
frozen pizza.
No, I don't like frozen pizza.
No.
I like good pizza. I'm a big fan of burgers. I wish more is that in the States we had more tartare. Because you go to, when you're in France, and you know, my mother's French, and you go to a regular cafe and you can get a tartare.
Yeah. Or beef or a fish or what?
The beef. Yeah, I mean, you can get more fish tartare, obviously sushi fish tartare. We
have a lot of beef tartare here.
Yeah, oh, there is here. Yeah, I had some last night. I don't know why that's music, but I thought it was open. Shabumi.
Shibumi, yeah. Fantastic.
The tartare at Shabumi. On a rice cake, that was excellent. A little bit, it had what was the row we had yesterday, Jacob?
Vendens roll? Löjrom?
Likro.
Vendens roll.
Yeah, it was
best one.
That
I love
experience was so good last
night. I buy it by the kilo.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I eat it every Friday.
Yeah? Yeah.
With a glass of champagne.
That is so smart. So it's fun. You know what's funny is I spent a summer fishing in Alaska on a fishing boat. We did all sorts of fishing for salmon and halibut, but we got the females and we opened them up and took out the salmon. So we had some of that yesterday. I remember fishing for that. That's quite an experience.
Yeah.
But
they're big.
Oh, they're big. Yeah. Little like orange pearls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I don't have any more questions now. I have a lot, but
oh, good. Yeah. Let me give you my card so that you can, if you need to clarify anything, I'm more than happy to.
Because I thought I would have some facts from your site as well, so I build up the article from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And my email's right on there.
Yeah. Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
It's gonna be good. I think I'm gonna take some photos tonight.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could. We'll be all ready to go by tonight.
Yeah. See a little bit of rock and roll.
Yeah, a little bit shaky shake. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Yep. And don't hesitate to reach out.
No.
And I'm going to see you later anyway. Yeah.